Welcome to Inside the Castle, the podcast that goes behind castle doors to have real conversations with real people about solving the nation's toughest challenges.
I'm one of your hosts today, Aaron Snyder.
And I'm Angie Fryerman.
In today's episode, we're going to highlight the Fargo-Moorhead Flood Risk Management Project and most recently their National Academy of Construction Award. So this is a really big, impressive award. Really proud of the two of you for being here today. So today we have joining us are Terry Williams and Kevin Denn from the St. Paul District. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Good morning. Yeah, thanks.
So before we jump into this award and really details about the Fargo-Moorhead project, could you just both tell us about yourself and your role within the Corps? We'll start with you, Terry.
Hi, everybody. I'm Terry Williams, and I've worked for the Corps for many, many years. And with respect to the Fargo-Moorhead Metro project, I started as a project manager during feasibility in 2010. Feasibility started in about 2008, so I joined up a couple years later, joined Aaron's team. And in 2017, I became the program manager for the Fargo-Moorhead Metro Program. It's a program because it involves the design and construction of many, many, many features, and it's a $3 billion program, essentially.
And hey, this is Kevin. Like Terry, I work for the St. Paul District of the Corps of Engineers. I've been with the Corps since about 2017. About the same time Terry became the program manager. Prior to that, I worked as a consultant doing various things, including work for the Corps. And so one of the interesting things about my background is one of the very first projects I had out of school was as a consultant working for the Corps of Engineers on this Fargo-Moorhead project, doing some of the geomorphology surveys as part of this project. So, I didn't know it at the time back in 2010 that this was going to be a big part of my future, but it's been awesome to, once I joined the St. Paul District in 2017, was able to focus, most of my efforts here on this Fargo-Moorhead project. And right now I'm assisting Terry as a project manager, focusing on a variety of different areas in the overall program, including the Corps' interface with the diversion channel, which we'll highlight probably a little bit later on in this podcast, which is the first public-private partnership effort conducted under the Corps of Engineers umbrella.
Well, thank you both for being here today. I am excited to talk about this award and the Fargo-Moorhead Flood Risk Management Program. We have had this particular program highlighted on the podcast before. However, we've gained some new listeners since then. And so can you quickly tell us about the program and just like the current status and what's up with the project?
So I'll start. So the project consists of a 30-mile diversion channel in North Dakota, plus the southern embankment or, dry dam that stores water upstream and regulates flows through the metro area. And that southern embankment, it covers both states. It starts in North Dakota and goes over into Minnesota. The project is designed to provide 100-year protection to the Fargo-Moorhead metro area with the capability of flood fighting up to a 500-year event. And it's going to benefit nearly 260,000 residents and 70 square miles of infrastructure. And the Fargo-Moorhead metro area is absolutely an education, healthcare, and economic center of the region. It is the fastest growing area in the region, including by far the state of North Dakota. The Fargo-Moorhead area means a lot to the economy of the state of North Dakota and to the people as a whole. When we started this back in feasibility, Aaron, I believe we were talking about 175,000 people. And now we're talking 260,000 people. And so the importance of this project just keeps increasing because the population of the area is absolutely exploding. We've got a very capable non-federal sponsor that consists of the city of Fargo and Moorhead and the Metro Flood Diversion Authority, and they've been with us in this endeavor ever since it started in 2008. Since we started construction in about 2016, the Corps of Engineers is building, we'll talk about split delivery as well, but the Corps is building the southern embankment. And we've been doing really well in designing and constructing the southern embankment. We've got several ongoing construction contracts. We've actually completed 2 already, with another 4 being completed in the next year. And we're also awarding another 4 contracts in fiscal year 2024. One of I think the most impressive thing about the implementation of this project is that we and our sponsors are united in getting this project done operable in spring of 2027. And we are all hoping that that is before the next large flood, that we actually get this project done before the metro area sees damages like Grand Forks, East Grand Forks, right? They suffered horribly in the 97 flood, been about recovery, and then they got their project. So in order to avoid that and get it done and avoid the damages, everyone is extremely united in the cause of being done by spring of 2027.
Yeah, and this is Kevin. One thing I'd really like to add to that is, you know, the Fargo-Moorhead project is fairly, I guess, a fairly unique project, you know, within the Corps of Engineers. Like Terry mentioned, it's a split delivery model that we're using to deliver the project. And so what does that mean? Split delivery means that the Corps is handling one aspect of the project, and then our non-federal sponsors, Fargo-Moorhead Metropolitan Diversion Authority, are handling the other components of the project. And so in general, the Corps is handling that southern embankment dry dam, and the non-federal sponsors are handling the diversion channel, and then the in-town levees as well that are being constructed as part of this project. And so the diversion channel itself, like we highlighted just briefly earlier, that is being constructed using a public-private partnership. So we've got the split delivery is the first, you know, kind of innovative nature of this. And then within that split delivery model, you have this nested public-private partnership, which is, again, a brand new concept for the Corps of Engineers, where our sponsors are using the public-private partnership within the federal project to both design, build, finance, operate, and maintain that diversion channel for roughly the next 30 years. So, I mean, this is something that is truly a groundbreaking delivery mechanism that we're hoping can serve as the model for a lot of other projects throughout the nation moving forward here. And that's something that, you know, we've been really excited about, you know, working through and working with our sponsors on. It's been a success so far, and it's really helped us push this project forward. And like Terry said, getting to that substantial completion so that the Fargo-Moorhead residents will have that permanent flood protection rolling around here in around 2027.
That's really good. And it's important for our listeners to recognize too that this is part of the Corps' P3 pilot project program. So our P3 program is out there. There's 4 pilot projects. This is really the first project that's been hit the ground running and really been a great example of how the Corps can deliver. And Terry, I noticed in your comments, you said that we are doing really well. And obviously to be getting this award is a big deal, and you have to be doing really well to get this award. But what does really well mean?
Really well from a federal perspective, and the project being divided into federal and non-federal work. The federal work, like I said, is the southern embankment, all the associated infrastructure. We received our first dollar of construction money in 2016. So that's when we were able to start construction. We had an injunction that lasted almost a year and a half, 2 years. But despite that, our design teams have recognized how important it is to get features built. And they have done that in spades despite litigation, despite COVID, despite having, you know, our teams made up of people from across the nation, the Corps of Engineers. Everybody has worked together to get designs done on schedule and get things built. For example, right now, the federal critical path is the Red River structure. That team is composed of multiple districts and divisions across the Corps. They stayed on schedule. They developed a schedule and they stayed on schedule, and that included a physical model down at Erdick. And then COVID happened, which they worked through that as well to keep the design on schedule, the design involving people from across the nation, and Erdick doing a physical model. They figured out how to do that. And then headquarters USACE provided the funding on time. All of that allowed us to start construction of our critical path feature, which remains on schedule right now. We are designing on schedule, we are constructing on schedule, and like I said, we have another 4 contracts in the hopper to award in 2024.
Yeah, and Terry, to that, I think I would add to that, in addition to having a huge focus of staying on schedule, we're also focused on staying on or even potentially under budget throughout the course of this project. And we're trending towards both on schedule and under budget and on or under budget. And so that's really something that we're hyper focused on throughout the delivery of this project.
I think I might want to emphasize this one more time. Did you guys just say you're on schedule and on or under budget? I mean, I don't think that can be said enough, because I think a lot of times in the Corps we hear projects that maybe are over budget or over schedule, but you're on schedule and on budget, and you're delivering a mega project. You've gone through COVID and a whole bunch of other challenges. Like, this is really an amazing reflection on your leadership, Terry and Kevin, and this whole team coming together. Like, this is a fantastic job. And, obviously this is why you got this recognition for this huge award. So congratulations to you all, and really keep it up. And I think that all our listeners out there and project managers, like, you want examples of how to deliver a project. This is definitely an example of how to deliver a project. And, Terry and Kevin are experts on this.
Yeah, and really I'd like to add to that. I mean, a huge credit goes to our team on this. I mean, there have been hundreds, if potentially not thousands, of people working on this project, both from the Federal Corps of Engineers side, the non-federal sponsors side, consultants, you name it. There's been a lot of people, and this is not just a project to a lot of people. This is a project that people grew up in the area, they live in the area, they work in the area. So I mean, this has personal impacts to not only a lot of our a lot of the residents of the area, obviously, but a lot of our staff as well. And so this means a lot, and that's something that's really been a major motivating factor for our team. Is we really just want to do right by the residents of this area.
Yeah, and I think the chief of engineers even mentioned that this is a proof of concept for how private-public partnerships should be done. And so you guys should be proud of that. And shifting back to the National Academy and the award you all received, can you tell us a little bit about the National Academy of Construction and this award, and maybe its significance, just to kind of set the stage?
Yeah, I'll start. The National Academy of Construction was established in 1999, and they're an organization of industry leaders, contractors, engineers, architects, consultants, council, sureties, and academia. The members have made outstanding lifelong contributions to the construction industry, and they really, I believe, organized to gather that expertise and to share it with the construction world. So in addition to education, they induct members, I believe, every year. At the awards ceremony in October in Boston, which I was absolutely honored to attend, they inducted several new members, and each member was able to produce a video, and each member was talked about and their credentials. And that's what really hit home for me, is that this is quite a group of people with a lot of experience and have made many contributions across the world to the construction industry. And so to get an award or get their basically top award for a project really meant a lot. And you combine that with who won it last year and who was also mentioned last year, which was LaGuardia Terminal B and a Panama Canal expansion. It just really hits home as to what an honor it is for our project to have won. But rightfully so, because our project is an amazing project on a national and even a world scale.
Yeah, that's awesome, Terry. And, I understand that this award is given it highlights creativity, innovation, vision, accomplishments in the engineering and design industry, construction industry. Could you guys just talk a little bit about specifically what Fargo-Moorhead won this award for? Like, what was it nominated for? What was the award, and why did it achieve this?
We submitted the package based on the categories requested, of course. It included innovation, and it also included benefits to the nation or to the area. And we were told that that is what really tipped us over the edge, was the benefits that it provides, the number of people, the infrastructure, and the enduring nature of this project, that it's for, it will benefit generations of people. And it's also a resilient project. So the Red River Basin has, I think, the most amount of climate differential, the hydrology in the nation. That, the increase is amongst the highest in the nation for basins. The Fargo-Moorhead project design is very resilient in that it can withstand changes in climate basically without any alterations to the actual infrastructure of the project. So it was those things that really, I think, hit home with the judges, is what we were told. Besides the innovation, how the Corps and the project sponsors came together to come up with split delivery, which allows for simultaneous design and construction of the features versus traditional delivery, which would have taken at least 10 years more to implement, and, keeping the public in danger for another 10 years. Another really important aspect of the NAC ceremony was that they gave us the opportunity to develop a 3-minute video that was shown at the award ceremony. What that allowed us to do was really highlight that it's a team effort. We included pictures and video of our team members starting back in 2008 working on the development of the design or the concept for this project, through current picture of as many teammates as we could gather together, engineers, biologists, council, everybody got together for a picture, and we were able to include that in the video as well. So we couldn't bring everybody with, but they gave us an opportunity to really try to bring everybody with by developing this video.
Yeah, so Kevin, Terry mentioned some innovative construction solutions. Can you talk a little bit about what was used at the Fargo-Moorhead project?
Yeah, there's been a ton of innovation on this project, not only from the construction side, but just the delivery mechanism side, the engineering side. Again, there's been a lot of innovation. And so I'll try to highlight a couple here. So number one, Fargo-Moorhead, for those who probably aren't too familiar with the area, has harsh winters, really, really harsh winters. It's cold, it's snowy, it's blowing, and that makes it, a challenging environment to construct stuff in. But there's been a lot of, innovation made in that realm for both on the construction side with both the Corps contractors and by the diversion channel folks who are building that. Oftentimes, our contractors are doing concrete pours in the middle of winter. They're putting tents over the concrete, making sure it stays heated up to a certain temperature so that they can continue to build stuff over during those harsh winters. Talking with the diversion channel contractor, they are actually going out and they found that between the temperature of 0 degrees Fahrenheit and 20 degrees Fahrenheit, that is actually the best time to do a lot of the excavation for the diversion channel. And the reason for that is the soils in this area, they are consistency, call it something like peanut butter or toothpaste. Those are kind of the two best analogies that we've heard. And so when you've got trucks running through these areas, when you've got excavators and scrapers and everything running through this area, you get warm temperatures and a little bit of wet weather. All of a sudden, that stuff just turns into an absolute mess of trying to go through and excavate. But during the winter, it's not like that. It's frozen, or it's stays relatively stiff. So you're able to do a lot of excavation during those months. And so the diversion channel contractor has found that that's the best time for them to do a lot of their excavation is, again, during those winter months where they can just make up a lot of ground on how much excavation they need to do. So we've had a lot of those types of innovations during the winter work. One of the other things that this project has done is the Red River structure, like Terry mentioned, was designed using a physical model. And so a physical model itself is not really an innovative thing per se, but when partnering with ERDIC decided to leverage a new technique for constructing a physical model. So they used essentially high-density foam instead of concrete to build a physical model, and that ended up saving the project and ERDIC as well time and money. I think ERDIC projected around 50% both time and cost savings in constructing physical models for this moving forward. And so the Red River structure physical model was the first approach that ERDIC used for this physical model technique, and they're now using that for all of the future physical models throughout the nation that they're working on. And they found, again, that consistent time and cost savings. And so that's been proven to a huge benefit to, again, the Corps of Engineers program. For anyone who's looking to use a physical model going to ERDIC, they are now benefiting from the groundbreaking techniques that were used for this Fargo-Moorhead project.
Thanks, Kevin. It sounds like the project has had a number of challenges and obviously found ways to overcome those. And that's really exciting. I think, there's always going to be challenges and bumps in the road on these projects, but it seems like you guys have handled them and your teams have handled them exceptionally well to keep you, as I'll say again, on schedule and on budget. I don't think I'll be able to say that enough times in this podcast today. But also, like, looking at this and the progress you've made and the innovation and like leading edge for so many things, like you mentioned the ERDIC work, you're a P3 pilot, you've got the split delivery, you're dealing with 2 states. This must be really rewarding just to see how this is going. So kind of, Terry, maybe we'll start with you. Like, can you talk about just this project and what the most rewarding aspects of it are?
Yeah, working on this project really as an engineer, I believe is a once in a lifetime, a once in a career opportunity. It's not often that you are able to work on something that will benefit so many people and where they live and they work and their kids go to school and where they go to the hospital and get their health care. And then on top of that, it's working on this team and working with this team. And you go back to feasibility and the vision that the people had working in feasibility to come up with a solution to a very complex flooding problem and watch that solution carried through, to today. And here we are, 2023, and we could be done in 2027, or we will be done in 2027. That's incredible given the challenges that our team has endured over the years, including litigation and permitting, and then watching the teams work through the first P3 procurement, and then finally the award of that contract, and how the teams have worked together on reviews of designs from that developer. It's all new. Our team has persevered and figured a way through all of these things, and for me that is the most rewarding aspect of working on this project is watching a team work successfully, collaboratively.
Yeah, absolutely, Terry. I'd 100% echo that. Like you've mentioned, there's a lot of people who have worked so hard on this project to bring it to this point. And again, we'll continue working on this to bring that to completion here. But we have wonderful, intelligent, dedicated people on these teams, and they are just working, doing what is necessary to get the job done here. I mean, has this project been an easy project? No, but that's what's been fun about it too, right? We get all these people who want to solve problems, who want to keep generating solutions to some of the most complicated problems that face this area. And we're working together collaboratively, not only internally as a team, but then externally with our sponsors, externally with their consultants and all the people who have had that role in this project to again get us to this point. So, I think both Terry and I have talked about this a number of times just when we're chatting in the hallway, and we can't wait to have that last piece of the embankment constructed, have that last piece of the diversion channel constructed, and just be out there and celebrate with everyone what we've all just done, right? We've brought this flood protection to the Fargo-Moorhead areas, and it's something that we'll always be able to look back on and say, hey, we had a part in this. This was something that was really impactful for a lot of people, not only, individually as the design team members and as project managers and as everyone working on this project, but as again, as communities coming together to bring this flood protection to people. And so really looking forward to that day in 2027 where whatever, final last completion we're working on at that point, getting to celebrate that completion with everyone who's involved with the project.
So we're nearing the end of our time together today, but before we depart, I just want to know, what is it that you want the people within the Corps of Engineers to learn from this?
So we were fortunate to have the EGM in Fargo-Moorhead in May of this year. General Spellman brought that entire group together, and they all came to the Fargo-Moorhead area for a bunch of reasons, I'm sure, but we were really able to show our project to leaders across the Corps of Engineers through presentations and a tour. And I think what General Spellman, his takeaway at the end was he put the slide up that showed the composition of our team. And it wasn't just St. Paul District, it was 6 divisions, 18 districts. I mean, that's our team. Somehow we have people from across the nation believing in this project, believing in its worth to the nation, even though they may be hundreds, thousands of miles away. We've got an incredible team of people who believe, and people that put the effort in, and people that are brilliant in what they do and applying it to our project. It is possible because Fargo-Moorhead is doing it.
Yeah, and I would, again, echo what Terry said there and even expand it a little bit to not only the partnerships within sister districts and divisions, but expanding that to working with our federal sponsors. I mean, they are just as dedicated, just as motivated to get this thing across the finish line. We all are striving for that goal. We all have that common goal of flood protection in 2027. And that is what has driven this collective team, both internal to the Corps and external to the Corps, towards that goal of that flood protection is holding 2027, right? That has always been important to us. We want to provide that flood protection as soon as possible. And so, again, the partnerships is kind of what it comes down to for me, is partnerships internally, partnerships externally, partnerships, with the elected officials, everyone that has had a big role to play in to bring this project to this point. And that's really what it comes down to, is the people who partnered together to get this project to completion.
I know I could talk with you guys for hours or probably days about this topic. It's just really great to watch you guys and your teams achieve all this. But unfortunately, we are out of time today, and I want to thank you, Terry and Kevin, for joining us today for this edition of Inside the Castle. We appreciate you and your insights. Until next time, be safe, be innovative, and believe in your people.
Thanks for joining us for this Inside the Castle podcast. To provide your feedback, email us at cw.infrastructure.team@usace.army.mil. Stay tuned for additional Inside the Castle podcasts as we explore life inside the Corps and revolutionize civil works together.